Hi, my name is Kylee McMullen, and the case that I was assigned was case 401, and it is a classic chemical industry takes responsibility for community concerns. The main idea of case 4.1 involves the American Chemistry Council, or the ACC. And the ACC is a trade group for the chemical industry, and its members represent 90% of the productive capacity of industrial chemicals in the United States. Dues are based on a percentage of the company's sales, the chemical sales. It is imperative for all chemical companies to stay competitive in today's global market due to the issues becoming more and more widely known to the public. Regulators, activists, and consumers have inspected the chemical industry more than ever. And since 1990, the Superfund Amendment and Reauthorization Act, which is also known as SARA, and is also known as the Emergency Planning and Community Right to Know Act, requires that chemical manufacturers and other organizations to inform everyone, including employees and the community, about the nature and hazards of the materials with which they work. And relaying important news to the public is always important, but especially in cases which hazardous materials are involved. The public has a right to know if there's a danger to them, particularly when the use of chemicals are used. And ever since this legislative pressure from the SARA Act, Not in My Backyard, activists have started to pay a little closer attention to environmental issues. And since activists were starting to pay a little bit more attention, the chemical companies got the idea that they needed to look a little closer and make a change as well. They decided to do 3 different things. Number 1, they wanted to listen and recognize the perceptions and fears of the public, especially neighbors of chemical plants. 2, they wanted to own up to any performance problems. And 3, they take action to correct problems and address perceptions. This is a very large step in the right direction, and it's great that a chemical company is going to these lengths to approve their faults and keep the company as informed as they possibly can. And since 1988, the Responsible Care Program has helped the ACC improve their company's performance as well as expand their safety, as well as other things inside their company. All ACC companies are required to publicly report through Responsible Care. Specific performance measurements are in the following areas. Especially in environmental metrics, and this includes hazardous air pollutants release and net water consumption. Next is the energy metrics, including greenhouse gas emissions and energy efficiency. And the next is safety metrics, including the number of process safety incidents, reportable distribution incidents, as well as OSHA recordable lost workday incidents and fatalities. And finally, accountability metrics, including community outreach and emergency response initiatives. Generally, these metrics are reported company by company measure. However, they can also be reported as aggregated industry statistics. And this practice is known as public reporting. And public reporting helps to increase the accountability of ACC member companies through increased transparency. As a result, oftentimes, this public reporting helps to drive performance of the companies. Another practice that helps to drive performance is responsible care operating with proactive public relations. And through informing the public of its operations and involved chemicals, public fear diminishes and the perception of responsible care experiences a substantial increase. Now, studies have shown that perception and fear are 2 of the most critical components of the overall outlook of the company. The example used in this case in the book involved those who had increased chance to develop Huntington's disease. And the results showed that those who knew what they had a strong chance of developing the disease experienced a stronger quality of life than those who were unsure as to whether they would or not. This case relates directly to the practices of chemical companies. Keeping the public in the know improves perception and respect of the company. And three of the most important focus areas of ACC member companies are the environment and chemical effects. Keeping the public informed and ensuring that product and processes are safe. And in order to best cover these focal points, ACC member companies follow 12 principles designed to keep them on the right path and help them reach benchmarks in all three areas of concern. ACC member companies look to reach a broad audience. This includes members of the industry, government officials, the general public, and neighbors, special interest groups, members of the supply chain, and the media. In order to help reach this audience, these companies engage in a variety of communication techniques. These techniques include informational brochures that just help explain responsible care as well as information on a shelter in place, for example. Another form of communication is through an annual response care report targeting local commerce as well as powerful members of the community. These reports provide information on local health and safety performances along with environmental effects. Member companies also engage in general advertising through the use of local level ads as well as community newsletters and the regular maintenance of the ACC website. ACC member companies also use a variety of two-way communication methods. Community advisory panels, or CAPs, is a main method which involves bringing together a group of diverse members of the community to discuss community perception with representatives from the industry. These have already been over 300 CAPs nationwide, most of which were very successful. Other methods of communication include responsible care open houses, participation in hazardous material drills, and allowing legislators to speak at meetings. It is believed that the external communication of responsible care, as evaluated by the National Association of Public Environmental Communications, is very strong. Internal communications is also believed to be strong with major reductions in environmental impact from responsible care companies. Responsible care continues to monitor this communication through performance measures as well as continued self-evaluation. And the ACC also holds conferences and workshops to keep companies informed in expectations and goals. Thank you.